farmers are no strangers to challenges. From weather, to biosecurity, to price fluctuations, farming has never been an easy job. But 2020 brought a challenge Maryland farmers had never dealt with before.
This is kind of a black swan for us. We were not expecting anything like this when COVID first started to be talked about.
In December 2019, news of a new virus in Wuhan, China began spreading around the world, and soon the virus itself started to spread as well. Officially identified as SARS-CoV-2, it causes a dangerous respiratory disease called COVID-19. On March 5, 2020, Maryland, like many other governments, declared a state of emergency. Despite the medical and economic hardships, we all still need to eat. And Maryland farmers are rising to the occasion, making sure our food supply is secure, while also confronting new issues created by the pandemic. For grain farmer Jason Scott, planting season at Walnut Hill Farms was almost business as usual, except he had to take some time off to teach his two kids, whose schools closed due to COVID-19.
For the most part, it was pretty similar to a normal year, avoiding the weather and working when we can. My father and I generally do all the planning, so there's days that he's had to pull a little extra time on the planter just because I wasn't there.
While planting remained mostly the same, beyond the field, grain prices have changed drastically. Just like the stock market, the commodities market also saw big losses.
So we've had a dramatic drop in prices over the past about 2 months, and we've lost about 25% of the value of corn. Soybeans are not down that much, but maybe like 15%.
That could have meant a loss of $200,000 to $250,000. But luckily, Jason had some protection.
We do some forward contracting. We have crop insurance. We have some other things that we do to try and protect that price. But if we had sold nothing in advance, that's about what it would have meant to our bottom line.
Maryland's poultry farmers have also faced changes due to the pandemic. COVID-19 spread in some Delmarva poultry processing plants, where employees often work in close proximity. Plants are adjusting to keep workers safe, but temporary closures and reduced staff caused a bottleneck issue, with more birds being raised than can be processed, even leading to the euthanization of birds in some cases. For farmer Jenny Rhodes, processing plant issues have meant raising fewer chickens at Deerfield Farm in Queen Anne's County.
To help, companies are looking at how can they slow down the growth of chickens. They're putting in less chickens per square foot, trying to make sure that farmers do have chickens coming in.
Before the pandemic, Jenny had never considered just how precarious certain parts of the food supply could be.
We do our part, and then after it leaves our farm, they get harvested and down the line. I've told lots of people I never really worried about that before because we had such a good system and it really worked well.
But she says things are starting to look up for the poultry industry.
I have to say, on the processing plant side, I think things are getting better. The CDC has come in and they've looked at the plants and they're helping the plants to make sure that the workers have their social distancing. I'm really hoping that we're over this hump and that we'll start moving forward.
Okay, good.
Meanwhile, dairy processing plants remain open, but the industry faces a different issue: falling demand. For Katie Dotterer-Pyle, 2020 was poised to be a good year for her Carroll County farm, Cow Comfort Inn Dairy.
So this was the first year that, as dairy farmers, we were finally looking to recover from the last 4 years of low milk prices.
But then COVID-19 struck, sending milk prices down yet again.
We were looking at an average of about $20 per hundredweight for milk, and now it's $13. It has severely dropped.
With restaurants and cafeterias closed, the plants that supplied them can't just switch to making products for retail.
So they're used to making 50-pound blocks of cheese or maybe 50-pound bags of shredded cheese. You can't take that into a retail store. So this has just been a huge disruption to the supply chain.
For dairy farmers, that's even meant dumping milk and altering cows' diets so they produce less.
You can't just turn a cow off and say, hey, we don't need your milk today. So we have not had to dump milk, but it's a possibility. We have been asked to reduce production, and that's hard to do because milk production, it goes hand in hand with cow nutrition.
But through all the hardships they're enduring, Maryland's farmers remain focused on the future and continuing to provide food for the world.
I think farmers are really eternal optimists, and we have to be optimistic to move forward.